Jasper County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help finding 3 teens reported missing.
Well, total crime in the city of Joplin is down for 2020 compared to years past. There are some categories that have gone up and even down that have police officials concerned. I'm Chris Warner. We'll take a look at those numbers.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
3 teenage girls have run away from an undisclosed location in Jasper County. The missing girls are 14-year-old Alexis Crawford of Phelps County, 16-year-old Morgan Holderman of Clay County, Missouri, and 14-year-old Jasmine Marie Holliday of Putnam County, Missouri. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office is currently working to find them. The Sheriff, Randy Kaiser, says they have detectives following up on leads based on sightings of the girls.
It's providing some information on other, possible leads that we can follow up on. And that's really where we're at right now, is just trying to, find acquaintances and friends of where they might be at and going to those locations and looking for them.
The Sheriff's Department has been in contact with the families of the missing teens to get information on possible leads. They're mainly trying to reach out to friends and acquaintances of the teenagers. The 3 girls are believed to be together. Anyone with information should call 911 or the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. Total crime in the city of Joplin is down for 2020, and officials say the pandemic is part of the reason. But one statistic that dropped is raising concern. KOAM's Chris Warner has more.
We've seen a reduction overall in crimes. We saw a reduction of about 9% total crime this year.
Joplin Police Chief Sloan Rowland says the pandemic and lockdowns played a role in reducing overall crime in the city.
Just a lot of less people were out on the street driving, and having contact with our officers. So it was definitely a different year.
There was one number they were watching closely.
Originally we thought we would see a rise in domestic violence incidents. We actually saw a drop.
Chief Rowland says that's raised concern on their end.
Several national schools have thought on that, or whether they're being reported as much as they were before or coming into the light, like with, being locked at home. A lot of people aren't seeing as many incidents of child abuse and domestic violence and things as when they're going to school or they're out in the public.
It's also come to the attention of the Lafayette House. Executive Director Susan Hickman says during the initial lockdown last year, their phones pretty much stopped ringing.
With the government shutdown, that actually played directly into the hands of an abuser. Isolation is what they are the primary goal.
She says some of that may have come from people thinking the Lafayette House wasn't open during the pandemic. Hickman says they never shut down, but didn't see a pickup in calls until the community began to reopen.
Once things started to reopen, one thing that we did notice is that the people who did reach out, the abuse was actually more severe, and we were seeing larger families.
Hickman also says the lockdown itself could have led to new domestic violence situations.
When you have different tensions that you're not used to, and you don't have that out that you normally have, there's some of those stresses are going to come out in a different way.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Hickman says if you or someone you know needs help because of domestic violence, you should contact your local law enforcement agency or the Lafayette House. Nick Kelly joins us now. Some rain chances moving into the area.
Yeah, you can even argue a few spots now. Dow seeing just a little bit of rain, but nothing too crazy out there. A thin little band of rain right along the 69 corridor, and even then what's coming down to the ground, maybe a few random showers here or there. The more concentrated rain on the light side is mainly to the north of Fort Scott, but what I'm really keeping an eye on are the storms developing out in central and western parts of Kansas. That's already, we have a severe thunderstorm watch out there, but a couple of storms getting going around Kinsley and Dodge City. That is all ahead of an approaching cold front that will be the focal point for those storms to continue to develop as we head through the rest of the evening. Right now, though, most of us are on the quiet side and certainly quite mild, with most of us hanging on to the lower to middle 70s at the 6 o'clock hour. We'll drop to 68 by midnight. The warmest will be for our Wednesday, but temperatures will drop through the morning ahead and throughout the day ahead with our cold front. We'll also bringing in those rain and thunderstorm chances. We'll dive deeper into how those storm chances will play out tonight coming up in a bit, though.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Nick. It's election night in the 4 states, at least for Missouri and Oklahoma. Voters in Carl Junction are deciding on 2 issues, whether to fund safety improvements and fund HVAC upgrades in the school district. In Nevada, voters are deciding whether they want to increase taxes to fund a new school. We're going to have results from those elections and many more tonight on KOAM News and on KOAMNewsNow.com/elections. April elections don't always bring out many voters, but higher voter turnout in November and an increase in voter registration had local election officials hopeful they'd see more people this spring, but that has not been the case.
So we thought we might see a small increase due to the increase in permanent absentee ballot applications. That's where we have to send it out and they can respond whether they want to vote through the mail or not.
We're going to have the latest on area elections again tonight on KOAM News at 9 and 10. Still ahead, a year since the state of Missouri shut down due to the pandemic.
We were just kind of figuring things out day to day.
Some businesses are just starting to regain their footing. And later, a worker is injured in a building collapse in Oklahoma. What authorities say about the worker's condition. It's been exactly a year since the beginning of the stay-at-home order in Missouri. That action closed down bars, small businesses, and hair salons for a month, forcing them to think outside the box to stay afloat. KOAM's Zach Dodge has how a local salon has gotten back on its feet since then and why Joplin's mayor thinks the shutdown may have happened too soon.
Creating beautiful transformations when people need them most. That's Caden Connis's favorite part of being a stylist.
I love the finishing product and just getting to talk with them and get to know them and build a relationship.
It's something she's done for the past 2 years, but a year ago, her world got turned upside down.
Corona was a lot. It was very hard.
Right at a year ago, the stay-at-home order went into effect in Missouri, shutting down small businesses, restaurants, gyms, and salons across the state. That included Halo Salon in Carthage.
We shut down after we had just expanded, and so it was kind of a fear of, okay, how long are we going to be closed? What does this look like for our business long term?
We knew it was on the East Coast. We knew it was on the West Coast, so we knew it was coming to us.
The city of Joplin signed their own stay-at-home order to align with the state's, something Mayor Ryan Stanley now thinks may have been premature.
Because we went to one where the risk really wasn't near as significant as it was going to be later on, that we now know was going to be later on. But at the same time, there was just so much uncertainty.
After a few extensions at the state and local levels, orders lifted at the beginning of May, and stylists at Halo could get back to work.
It was intense. I mean, they were ready to come back, so we had a great May.
And now they're busier than they've ever been.
Actually, in March, we had almost doubled our numbers from any other time that we've ever done.
Hearing about what they went through and just talking to them about everything, and yeah, it's been really nice.
In Carthage and Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
At the time the statewide stay-at-home order was put into place in Missouri, there were just under 3,000 confirmed cases and just under 50 deaths in the state. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says she has no plans to have Kansas issue vaccine passports, which are designed to help inoculated residents travel, shop, and dine out more freely. Vaccine passports, which verify people's immunization status, have become a political flashpoint in the U.S. as they've come into use in Israel and they're under development in Europe. The governors of Missouri and Oklahoma have also said they oppose those passports. Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast, and later the trial begins for a Missouri man accused of killing 2 women.
I'm Dr.
Most of us enjoyed a mainly quiet day and certainly a warm day once again before we see our thunderstorm chances start to sneak in later on tonight and certainly going through the day tomorrow. That's a warming trend that we've seen since we wrapped up the Easter holiday weekend. As a matter of fact, we topped out in the mid to upper 70s yesterday. It only dropped back into the lower 60s this morning. And then we still, despite more cloud cover today, that strong south wind was able to bump us back up to at least 75 for afternoon highs today. So far, the Skywatch storage tracker is showing maybe a very thin band of very broken, very light showers trying to work toward the I-49 corridor. But the better chance for any rain right now reaching the ground, and even if it is, it's very light. Let's say between Uniontown, Fort Scott, and areas around Mound City and Garnett. What I'm also keeping an eye on more intently, by the way, are these broken thunderstorms ahead of our cold front developing out across central and western parts of Kansas. This is expected to fill in quite a bit and start heading generally toward the east. So this is something we're keeping a close eye on because it could definitely play a role in our forecast as we go through the night ahead of us. So we'll call this view outside partly cloudy, 73 in Joplin, south breeze at 24, gusting to 33 at times. That's still what's helping to keep temperatures up despite more cloud cover in play. Anywhere between 72 and 75 degrees. That's where most of us sit right now. Again, all because of mainly that south breeze at 15 to 25 miles per hour. We're not even including the gusts, trying to push near 30 still. We're going to hold mainly in the lower 70s for much of this evening. We dropped to 68 at midnight at our warmest for our Wednesday, and then we'll drop back into the lower to middle 60s, mainly for our Wednesday morning, as we keep an eye on those increasing storm chances, especially late tonight. Again, those chances originating out across central and western parts of Kansas, ahead of our cold front at the surface, and as we're finally starting to see this upper low work out in Colorado and help create more thunderstorm chances out west. A couple ways that the storms out west could play out. This is one run of the future track showing upscale growth wanting to build those storms farther to the south toward Wichita. If this can unfold, we could certainly have some strong and low-grade severe storms clip our far northern counties as we head through the overnight. Here's 1 a.m. And even though they weaken once we get past 2 a.m., we're going to still have this cold front roll on through and create more scattered rain and storm chances during the overnight and into tomorrow morning. If that specific scenario can unfold, we'll definitely have a low risk of severe weather from Chanute, Uniontown, Fredonia points north and west, with again, wind and hail being the bigger threats here. We'll keep an eye on that between 10 o'clock tonight and 4 a.m. Another way this could play out is whatever develops out west, the upper level winds could steer this just to our north. So there is a chance that both of those scenarios, or a mix of the two, could play out, or these storms could miss us to the north. But still, we'll have the cold front create scattered rain and storms for tomorrow morning. And then on the backside of the front, we'll see wraparound moisture, but keep some scattered showers in the forecast for tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on those storms for tonight, but also the dropping temperatures as that cold front rolls in. We go from 63 in the morning to 56 by noon, maybe 58 by 4 p.m., but we'll definitely turn cooler behind this front as we drop to 46 Thursday morning, 66 on Thursday, 78 on Friday, with additional storm chances to watch for the weekend. But in the short term now, I'm keeping an eye on those storm chances tonight, because if the odds don't play in our favor, it could be definitely a loud night for some.
We're certainly due for some rain, and after all those April showers, bring May flowers.
Yeah, some rain would definitely be nice.
Thanks, Nick. Still ahead, attorneys give their opening statements in the trial of a Kansas City area man accused of killing 2 women. One person's in the hospital tonight following the collapse of this building today in Oklahoma City. The 2-story building was under renovation. Officials say construction crews were there when it happened. The injured person is an employee working on the renovation. No details on their exact injuries, but the person is said to be in serious condition.
That individual was already out of the building and was laying on the ground about 10 feet from where the building had collapsed. We do not know all of the circumstances as far as how the individual got out of the building, but we were told that the construction crews, his co-workers, possibly assisted with that.
Crews then went through the scene with canine rescue to make sure no one else was trapped inside. Arkansas lawmakers today made the state the first to ban gender-confirming treatments and surgery for transgender youth, enacting the prohibition over the governor's objections. The Republican-controlled House and Senate voted to override Governor Asa Hutchinson's veto of the measure, which prohibits doctors from providing gender-confirming hormone treatment, puberty blockers, or surgery to anyone under 18 years old, or from referring them to other providers for the treatment. Opponents of the measure have vowed to sue to block the ban before it takes effect this summer. The ban was opposed by several medical and child welfare groups, including the American Academy of Pediatrics. Witness testimony begins today in the trial of a Kansas City area man charged with murdering 2 women. It's taken years to get to this point for the suspect and victims' families. Matt Flenner has more.
Walking into court after years of delays, the families of Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyon's finally here to see the trial of their daughter's accused killer, Kyler Used. Used in a suit and tie, the first images broadcast publicly of him in more than 3 years. He's on trial, suspected of killing Kara Kopetsky in 2007, Jessica Runyon in 2016. A mushroom hunter found both girls' remains in a farm field in Cass County. Monday, prosecutors said it was not far from a house where Used hung out.
After he killed Jessica, he went back to this spot, his spot. You stumped Jessica's body in the same woods that he said he threw Kara all those years before.
Meanwhile, defense attorneys in the case tried to plant doubt about the investigation. They also brought up Used's half-brother, Jessup Carter, as an alternative suspect in the case. Carter died by suicide in 2018. Finally, defense attorneys argued while there are a lot of statements,
none of them are supported by physical evidence. There's not one hair, one drop of blood, or one fingerprint in this case connecting Kyler to either of these homicides.
Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Russell Hurt. The Joplin native served in the U.S. Navy, fought in the Korean War aboard the USS Frank E. Evans, and we are proud to salute Russell Hurt. He's tonight's four-state hero. Hey, some bad news tonight for Chiefs star quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The country's facing a ketchup shortage. Is in restaurants anyway. The Wall Street Journal reports that low inventory of ketchup is hitting mom and pop restaurants as well as chains like Texas Roadhouse and Long John Silver. According to restaurant business platform Plate IQ, the ketchup shortage has caused packet prices to rise 13% since January of 2020. But there is some good news. USA Today reports that America's most popular brand, Heinz, is working to increase its supplies in order to produce 12 billion packets a year. Mr. Mahomes, you are welcome. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, we're going to have results from elections going on in southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. Plus, we'll hear more about 3 teenagers who went missing in Jasper County, Missouri. Also, a new Georgia voting law was the spark that ignited a political firestorm. We're going to explain that and more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Jordan, thanks. Nick, some of us could be getting some rain tonight.
Yeah, most of us quiet this evening, but it's late tonight and certainly for tomorrow. The front out west will grow our rain chances and certainly some thunderstorm chances too that I'll keep a close eye on. 68 and dropping tomorrow, mid-60s Thursday with the backside of the system keeping some rain around. Then we'll dry for a bit Friday with highs near 78.
Hey, to stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's absolutely free of charge. You'll find it in the Apple App Store, also the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for KOAM News app. If you don't have this yet already, why not get it right now? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10 on Channel 7 and KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.